Okay, so it's time for another um, movie franchise discussion video. And yeah, I can't believe I never did this one before, but it's going to be about the Jurassic Park films. Now that we almost have a new one coming out, which you'll see in a few days, I just wanted to go through the films that have come out so far. Starting, of course, with the original Jurassic Park from 1993. Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorite films of all time. I think it's pretty much a perfect film. Um, I saw it when I was only 7 years old in the cinema, and yeah, I think I was maybe just slightly too young to really fully appreciate it and comprehend it, but at the same time, it's an experience that I still remember pretty vividly. And it still hasn't really been topped as an experience, because, yeah, as you can imagine, I was already, you know, interested in dinosaurs at that age. And so seeing that movie in the cinema was just like, you know, just much more than just going to see a movie in the cinema. It was really a life experience. Um, yeah, I think this movie, it still, I really love it to this day. And I think it had one of the biggest, let's say, leaps in technology and special effects that has ever been seen. I think it's because at the time, CGI was really pretty new. It had been used in some movies, um, like The Abyss and Terminator 2, and they were impressive there. But you had never seen like it used to make like animals or creatures, living creatures, come to life like that. And yeah, and the way that it you know created dinosaurs in such a realistic way was, of course, a great application of this technology, because dinosaurs are something that we're all fascinated by. And yeah, this is a movie that really, unlike any other, really generates a real sense of wonder. And yeah, it's also suspenseful, exciting, has good characters, just overall a good story. So yeah, there's nothing really you can say against it, in my opinion. So yeah, this is like for me a perfect 10 out of 10 movie. 4 stars out of 4. Yeah, and then after this we had a sequel, which was also directed by Steven Spielberg. 4 years later, and yeah, this was actually the first time in my life that I remember, anticipating a movie that was coming out. I was 11 when it came out, and I'd been aware that there was going to be a sequel for some time, and so yeah, it was super exciting to go see it. And this movie, I also really loved it when I saw it as a kid. Um, I don't think I can say that I liked it as much as the first, but it was not far off at the time. I do feel like now I do see it as an inferior film, but it's still a solid sequel. And for me, it's still pretty easily the best of the sequels to Jurassic Park. It's a lot of to do with Spielberg being the director again. Aside from the Indiana Jones films, it's the only time they made a sequel to any of his films. And yeah, it's just a good, entertaining movie. It doesn't have the same sense of excitement and wonder as the first one, but that's kind of inevitable because you already saw that they were how they did the dinosaurs and everything, and now it's just kind of more of the same, and yeah, even more realistic dinosaurs, and yeah, the story is a little bit less believable than the first. It's a little bit more contrived, let's say, and the characters are not quite as likable. But again, it's just a good adventure movie. It's a good film, and it has a really cool ending. I thought when I first saw it, the whole part when the T-Rex ends up in San Diego and runs around. I had no idea that was coming. When it was coming, when it came, like I thought the movie was over. So it was like a great sort of bonus to have that whole part. So yeah, this movie I would give like 3 out of 4 and about a 7.5 out of 10. Um, yeah, so after that we had again 4 years after that a third film, Jurassic Park 3. This time not directed by Spielberg anymore, and yeah, for me this was a pretty significant drop in quality, and yeah, I remember being pretty disappointed with it when I saw it. Um, I mean, it's not a really bad film. It's just that compared to the first two, I think it lacks suspense and excitement, and it has a kind of like a silly feel to it somehow. It's also a bit too short, and it doesn't add anything like new because it's also set again on an island without any fences, like The Lost World, and I think it even takes place on the same island. And the story, it's just another rescue mission. It's just too similar to The Lost World in some ways, and yeah. The only nice thing is that they brought back Sam Neill as Alan Grant. That was kind of nice, but aside from that, I think it's very forgettable, and I think it might be my least favorite of all the films. So yeah, I give it about maybe like a 5.5 out of 10. And yeah, 2 stars out of 4. Yeah, after that there was not any more films in the series for a long time, and came back with Jurassic World in 2015, so like 14 years later. We had the fourth film, which kickstarted like a new trilogy. And this one I liked a lot more than Jurassic Park 3 in any case. I thought it was like a good concept, having a fully functioning park. Yeah, introduced a completely new cast of characters, which are not really that memorable. I think the Chris Pratt character is all right, but I don't like the Claire character. Yeah, the villain played by Vincent D'Onofrio thought it was pretty weak. The characters are not really great. The kids are okay, the two young boys. Those are decent characters, but what I like mostly about this movie is like how they showed how this park worked, and there are some nice scenes of like just people exploring the park and the different attractions. It's kind of fun to see that finally. in a film, and the story itself doesn't really have that much mm, originality to it. I thought the whole thing about the raptors being used potentially as like in the army, or it is a bit weird, but yeah, I did like the whole final battle between the what was it, the Indominus Rex and the T Rex, and it was kind of cool to have like an extended big final fight between two huge dinosaurs. So yeah, this one is for me the third best of the series, behind the first one and the Lost World. And no, good movie. Not great, but just enjoyable for what it was. So I give it about a 7 out of 10, and 3 stars out of 4. And next up, again, there was the next film 3 years later, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. This one I didn't really like that much. Um, I think it's like a close thing between this one and Jurassic Park 3 for being my least favorite. I think this one just doesn't really have that much memorable things about it. I don't really remember much of about it, to be honest. Like, and it takes place largely in the last hour or so. It takes place in this big mansion. I don't know. It just didn't really. I thought it wasn't really inspiring or original or interesting that much, and it kind of seemed only to have, exist to set up the next film. Um, Next film, which was Jurassic World Dominion. Um, yeah, this one. It's funny, when I first saw it in the cinema, I really disliked it, but funny enough, when I saw it a second time, I actually enjoyed it a lot more. And I do think it is better than Fallen Kingdom. Not by that much, but it's nice that they bring back the original characters. That's the main, you know, thing about it that you can say is enjoyable. I think it does like make a mistake by introducing like a whole subplot about these big locusts, and it kind of takes the focus away from the dinosaurs. And yeah, the story is pretty thin, and it does have, I think, some more interesting locations. I like the whole setting in Malta. That was fun. Um, and there are some nice moments with the original cast, particularly with Malcolm. He has some funny lines. Um, so yeah, I think this it's not anything great. It's even not even really that good, but it's watchable, I think, and for me it's a little bit more entertaining than the previous film. So I give it about like oh yeah, the previous one, Fallen Kingdom, I would give it like 6 out of 10, barely, and 2.5 stars out of 4. And Dominion, I would give again just maybe 6.5 out of 10, and 2.5 stars. Yeah, out of 4. Yeah, so that's it. Kind of curious about this new one. Um, the first reactions and reviews kind of indicate that it's also not great. That it's only going to be, an all right movie. Just good. That's fine. I think I'll be happy with this movie if I can say that I like it more than the last two. That's the main thing I'm hoping for. and that really shouldn't really take that much. Yeah, so overall, I think this is one of my favorite film series. But yeah, the quality has definitely sort of gradually gone down over time, and it's hard to really come up with something new in the series anymore. Yeah, so that's all. Thanks for watching again.